be starting with the author, right? This is the author. So
Hmm.
actually, this is the main tool where we are. So we have the manuscript, right? So in the DCT, Duck Creek architecture, in the whole Duck Creek system that we uh, follow, like Duck Creek is mainly a product for insurance space, particularly for the property and casualty insurance, right? So
Right.
for building up the policy platform, we have in Duck Creek a tool called Author, and this is the what's it UI screen of the author. So this symbol that you're seeing, this duck symbol, and which is having a written underneath it. So this is the symbol of the author. So once we open this author, we'll be opening up a manuscript. So manuscript is what? Manuscript is a XML file which
Right.
contains all the codes. So basically all the rules that are defined. Right, regarding the product, the rating thing, the documentation thing, the screen flow, the policy transaction, and all. So all these things are present in the XML file, which is called the manuscript, right? So whenever we open up the author, we can see here which version of the manuscript we have opened. So here you are seeing here that version is written and the name of the version is written. So currently we have opened this carrier cyber data and version number is 25, right? So why do we have the versions of the manuscript? So because see, I mean, uh, for a particular state of America, I'm taking example as New York, right? So, the government made a rule that from 1st of May, a 5% extra tax would be levied on the state, on the state of New York. So, any uh, person who is taking the policy for his property, right, in the particular state of New York, a 5% extra would be levied after if the effective date of the policy is greater than the 1st of May, right? Then,
Hmm.
a new rating has to be triggered, right? Then only the new premium calculation will be there. The new premium will be 5% extra. Extra than the premium that was charged before 1st of May, right? So for that thing, this is one of the example that I'm giving you. For that thing, we need a newer manuscript in which a 5% extra tax would be levied, right? And which will be effective from 1st of May. You are getting it right.
Okay.
If you have any questions, you can
I
stop me
want
and
to know that can we not do that in the same manuscript using
we can do that in the same manuscript. I'm just saying that I was just giving one example why
okay,
we require the version. There are
okay,
many reasons why we require versioning. This may be one of the reasons, the rating change. The rating factor change,
okay,
right?
right.
See, if we, to answer your question, we can do the same change in a particular manuscript, in that same particular manuscript. But see, this is one of the example I told you that for NY state, a 5% extra was levied, right? But for
Hmm.
other state, for each of the other states, some extra would be levied, and that number will be varying for each of the particular state. So then it would be, convenient to have a version manuscript rather than doing the same changes. For particular states in that same manuscript,
Okay,
right? So we
okay,
need to check the efficiency and productivity of the R code, right?
okay.
Yeah. Any question? Any question you wanted to ask or any? So yeah. So this is the version, and the manuscript is the XML file which contains all the all the components of the product, right? Then here you are seeing or these are the symbols which are present in the Duck Creek author, right? So this symbol that you're seeing here, a rectangular box with a dot, right? In this symbol denotes the field view of the author. So in the
Hmm.
field view, when I say field view, it contains all the fields. It has the groups as well as the fields, right? So here you are seeing that these are the groups, right, in the green. and I mean a group is under a group. I mean a group is what's say a child of a parent group, and then the fields are the child of one of the group, right?
Hmm.
So I mean here you are seeing these are the fields, and this is called the field view. There is another view called this page view. So this symbol you are seeing, right? A pen and a notepad is there, right?
Ah,
So this symbol is called the page view. So I mean, what this contains is that I mean, whatever we are seeing onto the UI of the Express, right?
right.
So I mean, all those components which we are seeing and how those components are coming up onto the UI, that can be mapped and arranged in this page view. Like whatever we want on the UI and in whatever what's it flow we want in the on our UI, whatever dimensions we want on our UI, all those can be I mean what's it mapped and configured here in the page view. So here you are seeing that the account page is there, then the qualification page is there, then this coverage detail is there, then there is a UW analysis page is there. So these pages are there, I mean the flow would be the similar. Like I mean account page would be coming first, then qualification would be coming, and so however it is map. I mean however we are doing the mapping, the same way it will be coming onto the UI.
Right.
Any questions till here? So uh, so I mean we got to know that this is the author, and I mean everything is coded here in the author, right? But before starting with the coding in the author, we need to set up the author. So for example, like I mean before, I mean when we take a new our new mobile, so before like using that mobile, we need to set up things, right? I mean in our new mobile, so that I mean it is convenient for us to I mean use it, right? So before starting the coding in our author, we need to configure it. I mean some components so that it would be convenient for us to code in the author.
Hmm.
Right? So we need to do some author settings, right? So here there is a view menu, right? I mean on top of it, here you are seeing, right? So in that thing, there are these author settings are there: color configuration, directories, local option, enterprise option, and advanced. Right. So color configuration is the first one. So in that color configuration, here you are seeing that the background color is black, and I mean all these things colors are coming up. This is white, and this is all these things. So you can configure these colors according to your needs. So this is the custom palette that we are using, right? I mean that is uh, I mean what's it? I mean custom. This is not the custom palette. This is the I mean the what's it? The permanent template that the author uses. I mean that is provided by the Duck Creek. But we can use a custom palette. I mean of colors. I mean for the background and whatever we. I mean whatever color we want on our author, right? So for that thing here on the color configuration, you need to click on it, right? And then when you click on it, I mean whatever color is present in the in that list, you can select it, and that will be coming up here.
How
Then
did
there is
you
a
come into this option? View. You're saying
yeah
view.
view, yeah view. When you click on view, I mean these options will be there, and then you can
Okay.
click on it. Yeah. Any other question? So then there is a custom setting. So what happens is that I mean there may be five. I mean you need to add color, whichever color you want to add, right? I mean uh, I mean some specific color you want to showcase on your author thing, right? So you, for adding that color, you need to go into this custom setting. Then there three ellipses would be there. Then a pop-up would be coming up, and then what say like I mean you can paste the there is a color coding number, right? I mean each of the color that you are seeing onto the screen, there is a coding number for it, right? I mean you must have worked I mean
Yes.
on the CSS, right? So there we need to specify that color code number. Here also we can you can specify the color code number, and that new color would be added up in that into the list. Then again in the color configuration you need to click up, and then that color that you have added will be coming up. And then the third thing is that display option for list and inherited indicators. So here what happens is that so you want the combination of two color, right? I mean the bay and the fadeness, or I mean, you want to decide the fadeness of that color that you have selected, right? I mean, so I mean, you have selected the color red, but you want the fadeness for only 40% of that color. So those things can be done here. I mean, in the when you click on this one, I mean, there will be options to. I mean, you need to specify the percentage, like I mean, the what's it, which percentage of what percentage of fade you want for the for that particular color. So you can select that thing, and then that color will be added up, and then again in the color configuration you can select that color. So that would be coming up onto. And I mean, you are getting it right. I mean, so I mean, you can tell me like if you have any questions or anything you want in a particular
Sure.
way. The second thing is that we have to put the directories option. So what happens is that before starting with the author thing, uh, we need to give the path of the files where the author will be interacting up. So, uh, so I told you there are many versions of the manuscript, right? So this is the 25th version of the this carrier cyber data manuscript, right? But before this 25th version, there are 24 versions, right? So what happens that I mean, how will the author, or when on the express, when a user is creating a policy, right? Then when I mean, how will the express decide? How will the express and the server decide that which version they need to point out, right?
Hmm.
So every version has a effective date. This MS-25 has a effective date of 1st of May. MS-24 has a effective date of 1st of April. MS-23 has a effective date of 1st of March. Right. So I mean, if you are creating a policy on the 2nd of March, then it will be pointing to the MS-23. If you are creating on policy on the 2nd of April, then it will be pointing to MS-24. And if you are creating a policy on 2nd of May, then it will be pointing on MS-25. You got it
Right.
right.
Yes.
So, but I mean, where all these version numbers and effective dates are what say are mapped. That is the file name of that is called MS catalog, manuscript catalog, right?
File name is called
Manuscript catalog,
manuscript. Okay.
MS catalog, right? So, I mean, what happens is that, I mean, that same manuscript catalog is required for opening up a particular manuscript in the author. So, suppose you are seeing here, right? Uh, this one, Carrier Cyber Data 25th version is opened up, and there is a drop down thing here you're seeing, right? Once you click on this drop down, you will get all the versions, all 24 versions of this Carrier Cyber Data will be in that drop down, and you can select any of the version of this carrier cyber data, and you can directly jump onto that version of the carrier cyber this manuscript,
Okay.
right? So for
Right.
this one as well, you need this one, I mean, you need the MS catalog. Like the author needs the MS catalog to, I mean, to verify which version it is going, I mean, going in, and how it is behaving, all those things. So for all these things, we need to map the location of the file, I mean, of the that catalog thing. So
Ah.
the file location of the catalog thing we need to map in the here, I mean, in the directories options, in the catalog one especially. I mean, the thing is clear, or you want me to repeat once more?
No, no, it's clear.
Okay. The second thing is that debug file. So what happens is that, I mean, whenever we are creating a logic in our author, so suppose, I mean, for example, I'm telling you that, I mean, I mean, there was a requirement to have a sum of two numbers, right? Then I
Hmm.
created a logic that a plus b is equal to c. And I mean, suppose, for example, that a is equal to 2 and b is equal to 3, then the value of c should be coming 5, right? But I am getting 6.
Hmm.
Then I mean, there is something which is going wrong, right? Then I need to debug it, right? So for that debugging it, we have many tools, like we have data tester, we have trace pointer, right? We have tsb debugger,
Hmm.
right? We can load the session
Right.
from util, all those things. So for especially for the tsb debugger, I mean, once we start, I mean, we need to mention the location of the file where I mean, when once we start taking the see, once we start our debugging, there is a file which will be created, which will be called trace file kind of thing, right? So that new file which is created, uh, once we start taking the debug thing, uh, I mean, we need to mention the location of the of that file. Like we need to mention in which folder that file will be created. Yeah. Any questions to here?
All these are in directory.
Yeah, all these are indirect. Then we have forms, right? So I mean, as you know that I mean, in a particular when we I mean, uh, for a particular policy to be issued, there are many forms which needs to be what's it printed up, right? And I mean, all those forms will be I mean, all those forms I mean will be what's it mapped, or we will be working on all those forms, the conditions and all from this view. This is called the forms view. I mean, this two rectangle that you are seeing, one block I mean solid rectangle and one block rectangle, this is called the forms view. So I mean, we'll be working on all the forms, but that form which we will be working on, we I mean, all those forms needs to be there in some folder, right?
Right.
So basically, what is a form? Form is a word file document, right? And I mean, which will be printed, I mean, on the execution of a particular transaction by the user,
Hmm.
right? So but I mean, that file need to be executed, that word document is required for a particular form to be executed, right? So that form I mean particular I mean, all those forms will be stored in a particular folder, and we need to specify uh, the folder location here in the form.
Hello. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, any questions still here? Okay. So I mean, there is a preview thing. So what happened is that I mean, whenever we are writing our code, right? I mean, for this happens particularly for two things, right? I mean, this preview thing is there, right? So this is for particularly for two things. One is for the forms, and the second is for the UI thing. So whenever we are whenever we are doing our coding, right?
Hmm.
So only two things which will be coming onto the UI. I mean, the I mean, what's it, the page which is interacting with the user and the forms. These are the two things which will be coming onto the pre UI, right? So we need to preview it, like how it will be coming onto the UI before. And I mean, suppose I got a requirement from the business that I need to create this kind of UI, which I mean, which will be coming onto the UW analysis page, right? So when I am coding, I need to check that I'm coding in a right direction or not. So for that thing, for that thing, there is a trick. I mean, there is a what's it? There is uh, this preview thing is there. I mean, in which you can check that particular XSL file which you are creating, and that how it is looking onto the UI, or how when it is coming on. I mean, it will be coming onto the UI, how it will be looking up. And the same thing can be used for forms as well.
Where will this XSL file be present?
So I mean, see, this XSL file will present in the author only, right? But we
Okay.
need, I mean, when we are we need to specify that particular XSL file. So suppose I told you that I mean, for this thing, there will
Hmm.
be a particular XSL which will be starting from here, and it will be, I mean, see, I mean, UW analysis page will be having a one XSL thing, right? I mean, we can uh, we can view that XSL file from here. I mean, in the edit thing, there is a XSL. I mean, logical XML, and uh,
Okay.
uh, those things are there, right? So you can view it, right? And I mean, once from there, you can copy that particular, I mean, part of that you are creating, and then you can use that preview thing, put that code here in the preview thing, and then you can check how it will be coming onto the.
So is there any preview button or something in
No, no,
author?
no. So this one,
And
this one. I mean, in the directories option, there is a option. So once you click on it, I mean, you have a pop-up kind of thing which will be coming up, and there you can preview that. Hello.
hello, no questions.
Okay. Then we have the schema. So I mean, as you know that the I mean, the example server is the one what's a key element, key component in the whole of DCT architecture, which interacts with the database. And so, I mean, suppose when a policy is issued by a user, right? So
Hmm.
the important information for of that particular policy, like policy number, the control number, the use, I mean, the insured name, the insured address, all these things are saved in a particular database, right?
Hmm.
But I mean, so I mean, there is a schema which, I mean, what's schema? I mean, what's it like? I mean, schema is a kind of document which has a particular reference, like how the data will be interacting with the example server, right? So
Okay.
that schema is present. So I mean, as you know that, I mean, like for particularly for the local thing, like I mean, when we are creating a policy in the local kind of thing, so we are using the Microsoft SQL database, right? So in that thing, there is a
Hmm.
schema that how the data, I mean, once we are doing a particular transaction, suppose I created a new business policy, right? So which particular data will be stored in that database, right? So that schema we need to put the location, I mean, location of that schema file in here in the schema.
Location of the schema file in the schema directory. Okay.
Sorry, I'm not able to hear your.
Location of the schema file in the
Yeah,
directory.
location of the schema file we need to mention here in the directory.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you have any questions or confusions here?
All all these things that we did was to set up the directory of the
Yeah,
example of.
author. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, and I mean there is a restore default catalog as well. So I mean once you click on to this one, I mean it will be return the setting to the default thing.
Okay.
I mean you're getting it right. I mean you do
Right.
not have any confusion thing, right?
Fine.
Okay. Then there is one thing called local options. So this is particularly for the local thing. So I mean here when you and when I'm showing you this author thing, you are seeing here that this is the name of the manuscript that is open. So Carrier Cyber Data US version number 25 is open right now, right? And it is opened for the particular environment SIT2, right? I mean you know that, I mean there are multiple environments SIT, UAT, then stage, and then prod, right? So this author that is open for a particular environment called SIT2, right? But I mean, so what is the ideal procedure of coding? I mean, we will be doing the coding in our local thing. So there is a local host kind of thing. I mean, there is a local Express UI that will be present on this particular AXPX, right?
Hmm.
So whatever changes we are doing in our local will be reflecting on this local host,
Right.
right? So I mean, what is the ideal procedure? That I'll be doing the changes in my local, and that will be I'll be able to see on this local host server, right? And once I have verified that it is working perfectly fine, then I will push the code into the branch, and that branch will be getting deployed onto to the particular environment. And then I will check on the particular environment and push it to QA, right?
Hmm.
This is the ideal scenario, right?
Right.
So what happens is that once to code in our local, we need to set up some things in our local. I mean the same things that we have set up here for the directories option, we need to set up here for the local options as well,
Hmm.
right? So we need to mention here the express URL. So mainly what happens that, so whenever we open up our author, there will be a pop-up would be coming up where we need to mention the user ID, the environment for which we are opening up, and the password. So
Hmm.
for the local thing, right, this express URL that you are seeing here, right, this needs to be entered for every environment, I mean, whenever we are opening the author. So if I'm opening the author for the local thing, I need to mention this express URL there.
Hmm. Okay, so that is the express URL.
Yeah, express URL. So
Okay.
for each environment, there is an express URL. So here for SIT2, like yeah, if I'm opening the author for SIT2, this express URL needs to be given up, and then the user ID and the password needs to be given up, right?
Okay.
So there is one more option that we can put here. I mean, we need to put here, specify the, for the local thing, we need to specify the same things, the data schema directory, the express URL, all those things need to be set up for the local thing. So when we
Hmm.
are opening up for the local, I mean, there is a, I mean, what's it, the author can communicate to all the other components that are required for a I mean, for a policy creation or for the product uh, to be executed.
Can you repeat once? The author, the
I
last
mean,
line.
see, yeah. So see, I mean, the author needs to, I mean, see, when we are on our local host and we are checking that if the code that we have done is correct or not,
Hmm.
for at that particular moment, I mean, for any code which is there on the author, I mean, which is there coming on to our local host UI, I mean, there is, I mean, only the author code is not coming onto the UI. There are many multiple files which are running in background and which are interacting with the author, therefore it is coming onto the UI, right? You are getting it, or I mean, you are getting confused.
Hmm.
Sorry.
Got it.
Okay. So, I mean, the same thing, like, see, I mean, I explained you the database thing, which is there for the environment, right? In the local as well, like we have the example database. That is the, what's a default database that is given by the Duck Creek thing. So when we are creating any policy in our local host, all the data for that particular policy which we have completed in our local, all the data components which are present in for that particular policy will be stored in that example database.
Yeah.
So for that, for those data, I mean, getting stored in the data, I mean, example database, we need to provide the directory, data schema directory, the file path name, the catalog directory, the express URL, all these things we need to mention in the local options.
Hmm.
You got it right now, right?
Right.
Okay. Then there is this enterprise options. So what happens is that there are, I told you, there are multiple environments, right? SIT2 is there, SIT is there, UAT2 is there, UAT is there, then staging is there, right? And we have access till staging. We do not have the access to prod, but we have access till staging. So, so I told you the ideal way of coding will be that we code in local, and if everything looks good, then we push the changes into our branch, and then that branch is deployed onto the environment, and then we can test it, and then we can directly move to the QA, right? This is the ideal way. But what
Yes.
happens that when the, I mean, so in the Duck Creek thing, there is, I mean, and in the Duck Creek thing, and for, I mean, it depends on the project as well, right? So here you are seeing I am directly coding onto the particular express URL on this particular express URL. So in on that particular express URL means that I am directly coding onto the server.
Express URL. Sorry, I missed your statement.
So, I mean, the see, I mean, here you are saying this is the express URL of the SIT2. SIT2 is what is one of the environment, right? And every environment is the code is there on the particular server, on that particular environment server, right? Hello,
Yeah, the code is there in the particular server.
yeah. So what I'm telling you is that I mean, see, I coded everything right, but I made a small mistake while
Hmm.
coding in my local, and that is getting reflected onto the, once the code is deployed, that is getting reflected into the SIT2 environment, right? So, I mean, the ideal way of fixing it will be that I again code into my local,
Right.
push it into the branch, and then deploy it. Then this will be the ideal way, right? But
Right.
one more way is to, I mean, one more and fast and efficient way to fix it is that I open the author for this particular express URL
Mm-hmm.
so that I can do the changes on the code which is present on that particular server.
Okay.
You're getting it, right?
Okay.
So for that thing, we have these enterprise options, right? So I mean, what happens is that so all these express URLs you are seeing up, right? So I mean, the server in the enterprise option, we need to mention the name of that enterprise option and the server URL and the express URL. So I mean, once you click on this enterprise option, a pop-up would be coming up, right? And in that pop-up, you need to mention the name, the server URL, and the express URL. So when we are opening, what is the significance of it that I'm explaining you? So when we are opening up the author, right? Then again this pop-up comes up, right? Where we need to put up the express URL and we need to put up the user ID and the password.
Hmm.
So here in that pop-up, you can directly mention the name, only this name, right? And if I mean
What
once
is the
this,
name of the interface option?
sorry.
Where will I get this name?
No, no, this name is your, I mean, your choice, your personal choice, whatever you want to give your name,
Okay. Okay.
right? So you just need to directly put the name and then the user ID and the password, and you can log in. So, I mean, this will be a hassle-free login. Like you, so suppose for SIT2, I gave the server URL and the express URL, and I wrote it here and the name as SIT2. So, I mean, when I'm logging into the author for the SIT2, there are two options. Either I have to paste this express URL, or I can just type SIT2, the name that I have given in the this enterprise option, and the user and the password, and I will click on OK. Then it will automatically logging up.
Okay. So enterprise option lets me code directly in the environment, whichever environment I want to.
So enterprise option helps in that thing. It is not the tool which is actually helping you to code code in the directly to the environment. I mean, you can directly code into the environment without the enterprise option as well. But this
Oh,
helps you to efficiently code into the enterprise option. I mean, on the onto the server. Sorry.
okay. Directly onto the server.
Yeah. Mm, you are confused. You want me to explain once more?
I was just remembering that when did we choose these enterprise option? I don't remember actually.
You don't remember why we use enterprise option? What? Sorry, I'm not able to hear you out. I mean.
Yeah, I was just remembering when did we use enterprise options or not. I was remembering. I don't remember actually.
So yeah, this is not a one. See, I mean, I will explain you. This enterprise option is not a thing that we are, I mean, forced to use, right? This is one of the option which we can use.
Right.
So right now you are seeing that I have opened the this manuscript, and that is for the SIT2 server, right? So I have not
Right.
used enterprise option. I have directly pasted the server, I mean, express URL, and I. So here you can see that I have opened this author for this
Correct.
particular SIT2, right?
Hmm.
So, but I have not used the enterprise option. If I have used the enterprise option, here the name of this server express URL would not be coming up. Then the
Okay.
name of the enterprise option which I have put in the here, the name, that only that thing would be coming up,
Okay.
right?
So enterprise option is just one method for coding efficiently. That
Actually, yeah, absolutely.
no questions. So till now
Yep.
we set up the directory.
Yeah, we have set up the directory. So basically, before coding in the author, we are setting up the author thing. And I mean, see, these are what's say like. I mean, I already told you when we take a new mobile. I mean, before we start using that mobile, we set up some our profile kind of thing, right? So that we are doing up in the author. Then there are these advanced options, right? So I mean, here you can see the pretty simple things are there. Then I mean, again, here the interview preview XSL is there. So again, you need to specify that appropriate XSL file, and I mean that too you can preview it using this option, right? Then there is this documentation preview XSL. Again, you can specify that particular file XSL file and you can preview it as a document. Then the cache ODBC connection is there, right? So what happens is that the database, I mean, I already told you there is a database for, I mean, whether we are working on a particular environment server or in the local mode, right? So
Hmm.
whenever we need to keep the database connections in the local mode, we need to click on this cache ODBC connections, and there will be I mean, we can select that thing that we need to keep the uh, database in the local mode. That thing, right? Then there is a start window maximized. So whenever we start the author, I mean, whenever we log into the author, it will be in the maximum mode. So this you know that maximum and minimum mode, right? Kind of thing, maximum and
Hmm.
minimized thing. So this will be in the maximum mode. Then show hints. So I mean, as you know that I mean in the author, whenever we hover around these, I mean these properties, we get a hint like what this property is actually used for. That kind of hint we get. So that thing
Hmm.
we can set up from here if we want that hint or not. Then
Okay.
there is a start field in the collapse state. So here you are saying that this is in the open state, that every of I mean every group which is present here is having in the is there in the open state, and all the fields which are present on that particular group are coming below it, right? But
Hmm.
if we select this option, start field list in a collapse state, so when once we open our author on a particular manuscript, all these groups will be in a collapse state and the fields will be hidden,
Hmm.
right? Then restrict manuscript catalog on open. So, I mean, whenever we want to restrict the manuscript catalog, if we select that option, then I told you whenever, I mean, here there is a drop down, all the version of the manuscript would be coming up, and we can jump between one version of the manuscript to another version of manuscript. But if we restrict it from here, then that will be restricted and will be confined to that particular manuscript,
Hmm. Okay.
right? Then there is this refresh option. uh, so whenever I mean we are doing any changes right in the author, it should be automatically get saved, and it should be automatically refresh thing. So that thing we can do it from here. Then uh, there is a preserve manuscript catalog sort preference. So there is a sorting column which is present in the manuscript catalog thing. So from there thing we can select, I mean that we can select that particular parameter which will be used for the sorting preferences, right?
Please did
Then
not.
there is this, sorry.
I did not understand this one. Preserve manuscript catalogs of documents. That's
So
all.
there is see the I mean I told you there is a manuscript catalog, right? So there is a column
Hmm.
called short column which is present in the I mean in this preserved manuscript catalog sort preferences, right? So in this short column we need to specify that particular parameter which will be used for the sorting of the sessions.
Okay.
You know what is session,
Right.
right?
Hmm.
So I mean, whenever we take the trace or we take we open the we want to see the session for a particular policy, right? Then
Hmm.
there, I mean, always there is a pop-up, right? And a sessions list would be coming up,
Hmm.
right? So that sorting of, I mean, which session list, I mean, in that session list, which session will be coming on top and which session will be coming below, how that sorting will be done, that parameter need to be selected here. So after this one, there is a request timeout. So you know that when we are coding in the author, we know need to interact with the third party applications as well, right? For
Yeah.
interacting with the third party application, we need to send a request and we receive the response from them, right? So while we are sending a request and we are receiving a response, there may be sometimes when the request may fail, right? And we will be hitting onto the particular what's a link through our request multiple times, but we need to specify a time limit, right? So after that time limit, we can notify that it, I mean, we did not the request which we were sending onto that third party application was not successful and it is a failure, right? So
Hmm.
that request timeout we need to enter in seconds, like I mean, if we mention it as a 30 second, then it will try till 30 second uh, to send a request and receive a response. But if they, I mean, it was not able to get the response from that third party application, it will show a failure message,
Okay.
right? Then there is this thing, session stay alive. So I mean, whenever we are in a particular session and we want that thing to be alive, I mean, we do not want I mean, to be in, I mean, it is the same similar kind of thing, like I mean, what's it, uh, so I mean, whenever we are uh, doing some changes directly into our session, right? And we do not want the values which are present in the session to be deleted, right? I mean, that session needs to be kept alive. So for that thing, I mean, we need to select here this thing, session stay alive thing,
Okay.
right? Then request interval, like I mean, here again we need to mention the number of minutes, like I mean, till when the I mean, the session needs to be alive. Like I mean, the session remains. I mean, session remains in needs to be session. Session needs to be remain open. That we need to mention in terms of the minute.
Okay.
Right? Then there
Same,
is a table.
same
Sorry.
last two,
Yeah.
same only, right? Stay alive and the
I
session
mean,
to remain.
stay alive. We are selecting that, okay, stay alive, but we need to mention the number of minutes where, I mean, that session needs to be remain open. That we need to mention up here in the request interval. Then there is this table options. So, I mean, as you have already worked, or I mean, you must have worked on Excel thing, right? I mean, there also you get this delimiter option. So you need to select in the delimiter option, I mean, in the table options, whichever whatever delimiter option which we want to select. So I mean,
Yeah.
these are the options and you can select it. Right? Yeah.
Yes.
So we have finished this one, author settings.